Hey guys, welcome back here. In last lecture I showed you how to make your code more modular. In this lecture we'll show difference between var, let and a const. So let's start. Go to your coding editors and we'll start with a practical example. So I will write here var name equals Philip, and this is a global scope of our code. When you will create a new function or if block, you will create a different scope. So if, and let's say true, so I will always get inside of here. Then I want to assign to name super Philip. And a var has a global scope, so it doesn't matter if it's here or inside of this block. So let's console log out, console log and a name. All right, and I will place here debugger, or we can run our code, it's fine. Like this. And you can see here is a super Philip. So this name be assigned here. Let's place here the debugger so you will see it better. Let's run it. And you can see our scope here. We have our cars here, car service, exports, and here is a name of undefined for now, but let's forward. And now it's a Philip. Inside of this block scope, I'm assigning to name super Philip. It's the same variable, so I will console log super Philip. All right. What will happen if I will create a variable with let? Let here and let here. And let is a block scope. So let's check it out. I am in my global scope. I'm assigning to name Philip, and now you see I'm inside of a block scope and name is undefined, and it's a new name, new variable in this scope. So forward, and now when we console log out, our name is Philip. So we didn't change it by this. Very interesting. So var is a global scope and let is a block scoped. Right, and a let and a const are ES6 feature. Var belongs to vanilla JavaScript. Okay, and now let's try something else. Let's remove this let from if block, so just like this, and console log. Let's run it, and forward this, and now you can see we are consoling out super Philip. So because we are using the same variable, we are not creating a new variable in this scope by let. So I'm referencing exactly the same variable I created here, I just changed value inside. All right? What will happen if I will type here const? And a const is a constant. If you assign your value, this variable, you cannot change it after. So let's see. Let's run our code. All right, and let's see it. And there is an error. Assignment to constant variable. So there is a difference. All right. And now I will show you something else. Let's go to index.js, and I will remove this name from here. And I told you that if, and the function has a different scope as a global scope here. So when I will create a variable here, so let's say let name equals super Philip, and I will try to console log it out here, I should get an error. So let's run. Okay. And name is not defined because we defined name in a different scope. Okay, so you cannot reference your variable from inner scope, but you saw that when we create a variable here in our outer scope, we can reference it inside of a if. And let's try it with a var. And var is a global scope, so everything should be fine. Console log, and we get our name. Right, so this is a difference between var, const, and a let. And we will use most of the time just const and a let because they are block scoped. And I don't want to mess up with the global scope. You can get issues and errors very easily. So that's why. Okay, now we can remove all of this like this, and let's go to our car service. And I want to create here a new function. So right here, display all cars. Like this is a function, and we want to iterate everything in a cars to repair array and console log out informations. So write this cars to repair and for each, and this function is available on an array, and you need to provide here callback function. So write here function and this anonymous function like this, and you will get here car. Alright, and I want to console log out this car, or we can call car dot and display not all cars but our function from a car, display car informations, because we are getting our cars here, our instances of a class that we created, and we have available this function there, so we can use it. Car display car informations. Amazing. Let's go back and to our index.js, and I will place here debugger, but first let's call this function car service and display all cars and debugger here, so just breakpoint, and let's run our code. Okay, and let's go inside, and here we are iterating our cars to repair, so our two cars. And let's get inside of the iteration, and you can see we are getting first car here, default brand, default model, and I'm displaying car information with this function. So I will get inside of this function and I will console log out all of this. Alright, for a first car, and a second iteration for a second car. And I started this iteration because I want to talk about this inside, about this callback function, because it is a very important, and we will use callback functions very heavily through this course. So guys, I will stop this lesson here, and in the next lecture I will be talking entirely just about callback functions. So I hope you learned about const, let, and var, and see you in the next lecture.